Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and it's another beautiful Friday, but I wanted to talk about some of the articles I've been seeing lately. So one of the things I've been seeing quite a bit of on public media, especially the mainstream media, is that all of these wildfires are due to climate change. Well, let me tell you some very dangerous statistics here, people. So the Pacific Northwest grows more than 60 million board foot of timber a year. Now, of that, 0% is logged. That's right, 0%, because that board foot of timber that we're discussing is on public lands. We don't know how much is produced on private lands because that's not monitored. But now let me put that into perspective. 7 out of 10 acres of Oregon are owned by a government agency or government itself. That's right, 70% of Oregon is government property. Now, they say that's owned by the people, but when you're not allowed to clear the brush, you're not allowed to break trails, you're not allowed to access it, they won't log it so that you can enter and exit it effectively because you can't get between the growth of the wild fauna. It doesn't exactly feel like it belongs to you. And the truth is that we know that these forests were not overgrown like this before Americans came out here. How do we know? Well, we have the Lewis and Clark journals, as well as journals from other groups that had made their way out here prior to America claiming the Oregon Territory. Most of these journals and documents discuss how you could walk underneath the trees and how it was clear enough to go from tree to tree and sit in the shade and be comfortable, and there was plenty of game wandering around. We also know that the native tribes didn't suppress fires but used fire breaks to protect their villages and used wood construction in their villages, which they had to fell timber to do. We also know that historical timber making methodologies, such as what they used, meant that single trees were used for each beam, which meant that each longhouse was dozens of trees cut down. Now, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and California have been suppressing the logging activities on public lands for more than 40 years. And at this point, I don't see it changing. But the problem is not climate change, people. The problem is the policies. We need to remove this 12-foot undergrowth. We need to open up the spaces between the trees to allow airflow, to allow animal movement, which will help control the undergrowth, and to allow breaks between fuel in the event of a fire. By doing this, we might actually temper the amount of carbon being thrown up by these wildfires, and also we might temper the spread and production and growth and heat and pollution of these fires. Because these methods work. We know they worked. They worked all over Europe in suppressing wildfires. It's why Europe didn't have a lot of wildfires in the Renaissance. It's why the United States didn't have a lot of wildfires until around the 1940s and 50s, when logging and such was suppressed. So we need to actually look at going back to some of these techniques. Well, I want to thank you again for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on some of my other social media. And I want you to have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day.